Okay. Okay, we're doing a neck reset where we don't remove the neck from the guitar. I saw this online and seen a couple of people comment and say that it worked really well. So we're going to see. The process is going to take 3 to 4 weeks, but what we've done here is we have the guitar secured to the workbench. We have this straight edge clamped to the neck to keep the neck perfectly straight the whole time, and then we have this clamp here, and it is putting downward pull on the neck. Okay, just to kind of show you what we're trying to get to here, that straight edge sitting along the fretboard there. And when you get down here, now the way it was, I'm pushing it down so that it hits about where it was hitting. The guitar definitely needs a neck reset. It was hitting a little more than a 1/16 of an inch. It was hitting a little more than a 1/16 of an inch along the edge of the bridge here, and the saddle. Of course, it was way below the saddle, so the action was extremely high, and you couldn't lower it very much, even doing some of the things that you might could do, like shaving the bridge down here. You can bring these slots closer here, shave the bridge down. You can get a little bit of room like that. But this neck reset, what our aim is going to be, this is hard to do while you're holding the camera. But what we're going to do is try to get it down here where you can see it. As you can see, that I'm holding that flush with the fretboard, and that actually is even above the saddle there. So the goal of this is we get it all set up like this and get it clamped, get it secured to where it stays the same. I'm gonna try to get a view of that in there. We stuff rags down in there so that when the steam goes in, it doesn't go down into the lower bout. We want it all to go up toward the front of the guitar, up in that area there, so that it will steam that area. It'll humidify it, heat it, and the wood should stretch. While we've got it clamped there, that wood should stretch out, and then after it sets for 3 to 4 weeks, and every week I'll do the steam again. This is not the best unit, but it's what I've got. I've got the steam going right there. I don't know if you can see it, but we just shoot it down inside there. It'd be better if I had a hose, but I've already done this once, and it put plenty of steam in there the way it is, and just like that, I mean, it's probably 120 inside the guitar no longer than I had it in there, and it's humid. You can still see some steam maybe coming out there, but I'll give it a good steam again here in just a minute, and then just leave it clamped up and let it set. And as the wood stretches out as this whole part kind of lays back down. What happens is when it's under string tension, the neck itself comes up, but at the same time it's pushing down on this area, and the bridge itself, this whole, you get a belly in this part right here, and that, you know, brings it up. So what the goal is to get all this flattened back out, get the neck, all the wood around the front of the guitar and the neck block and all that, get it to where it is basically back the way it was, in the same place it was when this guitar was made. So people have had real good luck with this, and it saves, if you've got the time to leave it clamped up, it saves a lot of work, because I think this particular guitar, FG160, made in Taiwan, it's a 1973. You can see the year there. On that brace there at the top is the date stamp. And so we've had a little bit of rain. I've got tons of mosquitoes in my shop. So on this guitar, one of the things it's going to do, by not having to remove the neck from the guitar, I believe that this guitar was made with epoxy, not hide glue. The glue just, it doesn't look like hide glue, and you can tell it's drying out in some places and kind of flaking off, and it doesn't look like hide glue at all to me. And so I know that some of these were assembled using epoxy, and the heat and the steam and all of that don't work on epoxy nearly like it does on regular wood glue or hide glue. So it makes it extremely difficult to take a guitar apart when they've assembled it with epoxy, because it just won't give up. It just keeps hanging on, and you'll wind up tearing a lot of stuff up and maybe ruin the guitar just trying to get it apart. So this little trick here, if it works, is going to save me not only a lot of time and a lot of work, but it may actually save the guitar. I can still shave this bridge down a little bit if I need to. I go farther. We brought the neck down further than it had to be, because you could see earlier that it was above this, but it's going to relax once we take all the clamps loose and everything else. Things are going to go relax and go back to the way they were a little bit. So I wanted to make sure that I had more than enough clearance so that once it kind of settles back in, that we're still have a good clearance on our bridge, and we can get a good playable action on this thing. Because when I got it, it was not playable at all. At least not past, you know, the 7th fret or so. So we'll see once we're done. There's a very good possibility that I'll do a fret job on this and just replace the frets. That gives me a little bit more room to play with also, because these frets on these vintage guitars were very low. They just didn't use very tall frets back then. And so they're, not only are they low, they're also narrow. I did a fret job on FG110, red label, came out tremendous. It made a totally different guitar out of that guitar, because the frets, these frets are actually not too bad. The fretboard, you can't see it there, but the fretboard is kind of dug out where fingernails dug into it and stuff. It had been played a lot, but the frets are not bad. On the 110, it didn't have near as much fretboard wear and all of that, but the frets themselves were just, I mean, they were just flat on top. And it really needed a new fret job. This one is not quite so bad. I could shape these frets up, level them, and all that, but I would still have very low frets. So more than likely, once we get this done and see how that works out, more than likely I am going to replace the frets on this. I don't know what they call this process, other than it's just a neck reset without removing the neck. We'll see what we wind up with, but I have high hopes that we'll end up with a really nice playable guitar out of this. These things sound amazing. Having 50-year-old wood, of course these are laminate tops, but they still sound great. That 110 sounds amazing. It sounds as good as any, like a 0018, which is basically the size of the guitar. It sounds as good as any of them. It sounds really good, and it's very playable with the new fret job and the other work that I did to it to get a good playing action. But anyway, we're hoping to get there with this one. This one was beat up a whole lot worse than that 110. Like I say, I can tell it's been played more, but it had stickers all over it. You can kind of see where there was even a sticker on the pick guard there, that when everything was cleaned up, you can still see where it was, because there's scratches around where it was and not where it was located. It had stickers all over it, front and back. Somebody had taken some type of very hot, somebody had taken lacquer thinner or something similar that would melt lacquer, and there's not a lot of things that will. So lacquer thinner or acetone or MEK or something like that. They had wiped down the sides and the back, I guess, trying to get stickers off, and you can just see where the rag wiped. Now I sanded over that with like a 1500 wet dry sandpaper, sanded it wet, and got a whole lot of that kind of stuff out of it, and got all the tag residue, got all the sticker residue and everything else off of it. But you can still see where they wiped it with that rag, and it's a shame. But anyway, that's not going to affect how it sounds. It's not going to affect how it plays. So I'm hoping to get a really good knock-around guitar that if something does happen to it, it's not a big deal, although it would make me sad. I don't like to see guitars tossed away. That's why I'm even messing with this particular guitar, because I do think it can be repaired and it can be playable again. And if it can, then we're going to make it that way. So give me about a month and we'll see where we're at.